Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive on something huge in the blockchain world? We're talking Avalanche 9000 today.
Yeah, this is big. Way bigger than just some software update.
Seriously, this is like imagine taking a blockchain platform and suddenly making it so user-friendly almost anyone could build on it.
That's what's so exciting. This changes how we can even think about building with blockchains, not just on them.
Okay, before we get too ahead of ourselves, our listeners are savvy, but we got to break it down. What is Avalanche 9000 really?
Basically, Avalanche 9000 lets developers create their own specialized blockchains. But here's the kicker. These aren't just isolated things. They all link back to the main Avalanche network.
So instead of one massive blockchain trying to do it all,
Exactly. We get these smaller, purpose-built blockchains all working together. Think of it like a network of highways.
oh, I like that. Each highway is built for a specific type of traffic, but they're all connected.
You got it. And each of these highways is called a subnet. And each subnet is like a mini blockchain with its own rules and way of doing things.
So instead of one size fits all, developers can choose the blockchain that perfectly matches what they're building. This is getting good. But how easy is it really for developers to use?
That's where things like ACP 77 and 103 come in. These proposals made it significantly easier to launch these subnets. It's like, remember when building a website meant knowing all this complex code? Now you've got platforms that make it drag and drop easy.
Okay, so you're saying Avalanche 9000 is kind of doing that for building on the blockchain. That's huge for smaller teams or even individual developers who have amazing ideas.
Exactly. No need for a massive team or tons of resources. Imagine a small game development studio, right? They want to create a blockchain-based game where players actually own WN their in-game items.
So instead of just earning a cool sword, you actually possess it, kind of like a digital collectible.
Yes. And with Avalanche 9000, they can launch a subnet specifically designed for their game, their own little blockchain ecosystem. They can even create unique tokens for their game, all tailored to how it works.
Wow, I can see this appealing to gamers. Forget just playing, you'd be invested in the games world. This is really making me rethink digital ownership. It's like those in-game items suddenly gain real-world value, almost like owning a piece of digital real estate or something.
That's a great way to put it. It's like, think about the difference between renting an apartment and owning a house. Renting, you're kind of limited. Owning, you have control, you can customize, the possibilities are huge.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So we have all these subnets popping up. Is this all organized, or does the main Avalanche network just become this free-for-all of mini blockchains?
That's the cool part about Avalanche. Even though each subnet operates independently, they're still connected. They're secured by the main Avalanche network. It's like having those specialized highways, right? Each with its own set of rules, but all connected by a common infrastructure.
Okay, so there's a method to the madness. We're not just creating isolated islands of blockchain activity. It's all still part of a larger interconnected system. I kind of like that.
You got it. And this connection, this interoperability, that's what gets me really excited. It's like the key to unlocking the true potential of this whole blockchain thing.
You've mentioned interoperability a couple of times now. Can you break that down for me a bit? Like, why is it so important, especially with this Avalanche 9000 upgrade?
Oh, imagine a world where you can move stuff between different blockchains as easily as, I don't know, sending an email. You send it from Gmail, it arrives in a Yahoo inbox seamlessly.
Oh,
That's
huh.
interoperability in action.
I see what you're saying. It's like we're breaking down the walls between all these separate blockchain ecosystems.
Exactly. And that's what Avalanche 9000 is doing, building the foundation for this kind of easy interaction. Developers can now build bridges between their subnets. It's like suddenly value and information can flow freely in ways we've never even considered.
Man, that sounds like it opens up a world of possibilities for developers. You mentioned Layer 1 earlier. Does that play into all of this?
Yes, it totally does. Think of Layer 1 as the foundation, like the bedrock. It's the operating system of the blockchain world. Everything else is built on top of it.
So Avalanche 9000 makes it easier to launch Layer 1, meaning it's now easier to create completely new blockchain ecosystems, each with its own rules and possibilities.
That's it. And these Layer 1 blockchains can then connect with each other thanks to that interoperability baked into Avalanche. Developers can cherry-pick the best features from different blockchains and bring them all together. The potential here is just mind-blowing.
I can't argue with that. We've been throwing around a lot of technical stuff, but let's zoom out for a sec. How does this impact, the average person? Why should they care about Avalanche 9000?
Yeah, it's easy to geek out on the tech stuff, but what does it all mean, right?
Exactly. This tech could actually solve some big problems we face. Like, How about data privacy? That's a big one these days, right?
Huge! Everyone wants our data, but no one seems to want to protect it properly.
With blockchain and what Avalanche is doing, you could have total control over your data. You decide who gets access and maybe even get rewarded for sharing it.
Okay, that'd be a game changer. What about other areas? You mentioned supply chains before, and that always seems to be in the news.
Oh, for sure. Think about it with these Avalanche subnets. Companies could track their products at every step of the journey, from factory to your doorstep, complete transparency. No more shady dealings or wondering where your stuff actually came from.
Exactly. Less fraud, more trust.
And think about elections. We could use this for secure, tamper-proof voting. No more hanging chads or wondering if your vote really counted.
Man, we could rebuild entire systems on this kind of tech. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
Totally. And we've only scratched the surface. As developers dive into Avalanche 9000 with its subnets and interoperability, I think we're on the verge of something truly revolutionary.
So to wrap up, if you could leave our listeners with one thought to chew on, what would it be?
Don't ignore this. Avalanche is putting the power to build a better digital world right into the hands of anyone with an internet connection. Pay attention, because the future is being written right now, and it's looking pretty exciting. I love that. So, listeners, that's our deep dive on Avalanche 9000. What's your big idea? What would you build with this tech? Hit us up on social media, and until next time, keep exploring the future one blockchain at a time.